Hey everybody, welcome to Board Game Heaven. In this episode, I'm going to talk about Cthulhu Realms by Darwin Kastle, published by Tasty Minstrel Games. This is a deck building game for 2 to 4 players that plays in about 25 to 45 minutes. So let's open up the box, see what's inside. I'll set up a game, tell you how it plays, and then I'll tell you what I think about it. Okay, Cthulhu Realms. Small, nice and compact box. And on the back it says a little bit of text here. Cthulhu Awakens. Artwork by Rob Lundy. So it's kind of a funny kind of artwork. Let's open it up. So inside the box, first there's the rule book, which isn't really a book, but more like a sheet. So it has the component setup, gameplay, how the cards work, all the icons and symbols explained here. Okay, so that's that. There's some fun artwork here. So, okay, that's the rules. We have a small punch board here with some scoring tokens. Okay. We have, this is there was mention of a promo card. Let me see. Includes promo character for Harbor. Yeah, so this is a promo character for another game by Tasty Minstrel Games called Harbor. So yeah, that's nice. It has obviously Cthulhu on the back. Haha, cool. There's these player boards to keep track of your sanity. It has a crib sheet here of all the actions that you can do. The backside is blank. Then there's a little divider here to keep all the cards in place. So that's nice. And we have 2 packs of cards. Let me see, can I open them easily? Does this have a spot where I can pull open the shrink wrap? Doesn't look that way. So we'll take the trusty knife. Alrighty, so this deck, we have plenty of these cards. Look at the artwork. With a brain cylinder, this insane looking guy. The king in yellow, having a chat with Cthulhu there. There's all kind of the yellow sign, yeah. Yep, so funny artwork, all kinds of different cards. And the unspeakable one. These all look quite funny. So it's a Lovecraftian theme, but in a funny comic kind of way. Dagon. Pretty cool. So let's open the second pack of cards. All right. More of these cards. Occultists. All kinds of stuff from the Lovecraft books. A goon. A follower. Now, there's plenty of those. Lots of followers. Okay. Well, that's what in the box. Let's explain the rules. The setup of the game is as follows. Each player receives a starting deck of cards consisting of 2 initiates, 2 goons, and 6 followers. You add those together and you shuffle them, and that is your starting deck. And from that deck you pull 5 cards, and that is your starting hand, and the rest will form your draw pile. Alright, so here's my starting hand. Then the rest of the cards is shuffled and 5 cards are laid out. In a 3-player game, you make 3 rows of 3 cards and you can draw from the 2 rows that are next to you. And in a 4-player game, you do the same. You make kind of a cross with 4 rows of 3 cards and you can only pick the one from the left and right of you. This is all illustrated in the booklet, as you can see here and in the top there. So that's all very clear. But in the 2-player game, you get 5 cards. You have your player board over here and you take your sanity token and you put it on number 50. That is your starting sanity or your health. And you also have this token in case you ever reach more than 55 sanity points. You can add this marker to indicate that you've got more, and then you start counting up from 1 again. And you just keep score of your health with this. All the symbols are explained on your player board as well, so you have several actions that you can do, and this symbol means that you can draw or discard a card. It will have a plus or a minus number on it. This means abjure a card. Basically, you destroy a card and remove it from the game with a maximum cost of 6. There's the conjuring power, which lets you buy games, conjure cards into your deck, so to speak. This symbol means that you either gain or lose sanity with a plus or a minus number on it. This means that a location is destroyed, and this means that you can acquire a card that was previously abjured, and then you place it on top of your deck. So those are the actions you can take. So let me just quickly explain all of those symbols to you. So for example, these followers that are in your starting deck, they don't do much. They give you 1 conjuring power. That is your currency basically. So when I start out, you can play all these cards, and then that means I have 5 conjuring power, and I could buy any of these cards because the maximum here is 5 is the cost. It's on the top right of the card, and these are free, as you can see. And there are many other symbols, so let's go through a few here. So for example, this symbol indicates that this is a location, and the location has a strength of 3. So you can also, instead of attacking your opponent, you can attack a location and try to destroy that, because a location stays in play and will give you these benefits. So in this case, this symbol over here, the arrows, mean that I can choose to either activate this or this power. So this will give me 2 conjuring power or 2 sanity. And it also does 5 damage if I destroy or abjure this card. So that symbol means if I use this, then this happens, and that means that this card gets removed from the game. Another example here, this card, this is in an artifact, and that will give me 3 conjuring power. And if I have a location in play, it can also do 2 damage to a player of my choosing. This is an entity, a character, and this one does 2 damage to an opponent. And if there is another green card indicated by the color of the bar over here in play, then I can do an additional damage. These cards do not activate themselves. It has to be another card, but 2 of them can activate each other. And here is the abjuring symbol that lets me destroy a card. This is really helpful because then I can destroy cards in my hand or on the table over here or in my discard pile, which is over here next to my draw deck. And that helps me, root out the cheaper cards in favor of the better ones I'm going to be buying, because this is a deck building game. Here is another entity that does 4 damage, lets me abjure a card, and if there is another green card in play, I get 2 energy as well. Another example here, it's basically the same, does 4 damage. Another 2 if there is a green card in play, and I get 3 energy if I destroy this card. Here is an entity. This is a purple card that gives me 5 sanity, and this lets me take back a previously abjured card removed from the game box, and put it on top of my deck. And if there is another purple card in play, I get to draw one card, and that I can use in this turn. Here is a location with a shield symbol on it. Now, a shield symbol indicates that it protects, in this case, the player, the owner of this card, and it's got a strength of 5. So if I want to damage my opponent, I'm going to have to destroy this location first with 5 damage in one turn. And before that, I can't target my opponent that has this card. This symbol means that if a card has been discarded, it's basically the card symbol with a minus. If a card has been discarded this turn, I get to draw a card. And over here, the prerequisites for these are there has to be an entity in play, and then it does 2 damage. If there's an artifact in play, it does another 3 damage. And if both is in play, I get to do another 3 damage. So that's an added total of 8 damage if I have both an artifact and an entity in play. And it is a location with a power of 6. Here's another location. I think we had that one. So those are all the symbols that you will encounter. Over here, as you can see, this ghast does 5 damage. And if there is another green card in play, it lets me destroy a location. So all kinds of stuff happens here. Here is a card that is also a location that protects the owner, that lets you draw 2 cards and then immediately discard 2 cards, so you can choose which cards to use. So what happens during your turn? So your hand consists of 5 cards and you play them in any order you wish, and then you add up what they do and you execute that. So in this case, in my starting hand, I don't have a whole lot to do. I just drew 5 followers, so I've got 5 conjuring power. Now everything you buy with that goes into your discard pile, just like with other deck building games. So for example, if I buy this card, it goes into my discard pile. Then I take all the cards that I used and I discard them and I draw back up to 5, and my starting deck was 10 cards, so these 5 will make up my second hand. And then I have no more cards. So when that happens, when my draw pile is empty, even when I'm still drawing, say for example, I only had 4 cards to draw and the deck was empty, then I take my discard pile, I shuffle it, I put it back and I draw until I have 4 cards. So then the opponent's turn is up and the opponent does what he wants to do. And then on your next turn, you've got some new cards. And then you can play again. In this case, I have a goon that just does 1 damage to any opponent. I have got 2 followers that will give me a combined total of 2 power. And this initiate gives me either 2 power or lets me do 1 damage to an opponent and an additional damage if I destroy this card, which may be handy later on. So for now, I could choose to take all the energy, that's 6 energy, and whenever a card gets drawn, you replace it immediately. So I've got plenty to choose from. I could pick these 2, but I could also say, you know, I'm just going to pick 1, because this is interesting. Arkham City has the city symbol with a shield on it, which means it protects other cities. So in combination with this card, it would be pretty powerful, because this one protects me, and this one protects the other city. So I'd have to destroy this one first, then this one, before an opponent could target me. So that's pretty good, but that is a total of 7 and I only have 6. So I could take this one, put it in my discard pile, and say I've used 3. I just indicate that by placing them on their sides. I fill up the empty space and I have 3 left. So now I can choose either that one or that one. And maybe I just want to get that one instead. And then I replace that card again. And I've used them all. This one did damage, so I indicate that with the marker. And you discard it again and draw back up to 5 new cards. And that is how you play Cthulhu Realms. And the game ends whenever you're the last man standing. So whenever a player is reduced to 0 health, they die and they're out of the game. And if the deck of cards runs out before that happens, then the person with the highest sanity left also wins the game.
So my final thoughts on Cthulhu Realms by Darwin Kastle. Well, I'm very positive about this game. I really enjoyed playing it. It's a quick deck builder. You play it relatively fast. Once you get the hang of it, you've played it a couple of times, games will go faster, and your deck won't be very big either. So you'll be able to build the deck you want and actually get to play the cards you want to play practically each turn. So it's very fast playing, which I really enjoy. I also thought that the rules were easy to learn, easy to teach, and as I said, people pick it up rather quickly after 1 or 2 plays. It's a done deal and you can play this pretty fast. Another thing I really enjoy about this game is the theme. I'm a big sucker for Cthulhu mythos, but in this case it's even better because of the funny artwork. As you can see, everything in this game has this comic book humorous style to it. So that's also a nice plus. And it's just funny looking at all these cards and looking what they are and what they do. And the theme and the cards do make sense. I mean, there's like Arkham City is the place where it all takes place, and there's tentacles everywhere and it drives you insane. There's the Necronomicon and other scriptures that also cause insanity, but also help you cycle through your deck because of the information you get from them. There's all these monsters. Some of them give you buying energy, and some of them help you destroy cards. So that's all makes sense. There's the Miskatonic University medical staff, which does damage, but also helps you regain some hit points yourself. So thematically, it really does make sense, and compared to games such as Star Realms, which is very similar, I found this to be, well, preferable, because in Star Realms it's kind of a generic sci-fi theme with very abstract icons, and in this game the icons really help to let you know what they do, and I thought they were very intuitive. I mean, a red exploding piece of paper is destroy a card. And well, the hit points are of course very clear, the energy, all the icons on here make it very clear what the card does, and that really helps with the play time. Another thing I like is that it comes in a very compact box. It's not a big game, it has plenty of cards, but they all fit into this tiny box, so it's easy to bring along to game night, and the components are very good as well, and the cards are of a very high quality, are thick enough. The player boards are also of a decent cardboard, and the tokens are also of a thicker cardboard. So all the components are, you know, top notch. So all in all, I really enjoy this game. I would certainly recommend it. So that's my opinion on Cthulhu Realms. I'm giving this a 2 big thumbs up. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you next time on Board Game Heaven.